Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Welcome to NYSA Presents, where you see what you've been missing in 3D. I'm your host, Johnny Laser. Today, our guests are Magnetic 3D, makers of glasses-free 3D displays, and its CEO and founder, Tom Zerega. Then we'll show images provided by Robert McAFEE for our stereo gallery, signs of spring, boing, or achoo, depending upon how you look at it. And last but not least, David Hazan and wonderful images capturing the Lower East Side skate park. They're role models when you think about it. Wait a minute. Here we go. First up, is a return to an unbelievable thing that didn't exist before. And guy thought of it, and I got to tell you, I'm glad I gave him the opportunity to do it because he's phenomenal. Now that he's blushing. First up is JUKEBOX ANAGLYPH JUKEBOX. And a quick trip to Gotham City.
Welcome to today's edition of the ANAGLYPH JUKEBOX. You never know what you'll find on the old jukebox. Let's press B31. Okay, we've got Batman 3D by John Byrne and Ray Zone. Along with Sherlock Holmes, Tarzan, Mickey Mouse, Superman, and Spider-Man, Batman is one of the most well-known, iconic, fictional creations in world history. Everybody's heard of Batman. Some people even know Bob Kane as Batman's creator. But who ever heard of Bill Finger? The 1990 graphic novel Batman 3D was a collaboration of giants in their respective fields. John Byrne, fan favorite and phenomenally successful artist-writer, famed for long runs on Marvel's X-Men and Fantastic Four, he's also noted for his work on DC's Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Doom Patrol, and many, many more. Byrne writes, pencils, and inks the all-new original story Ego Trip. The king of 3D comics, Ray Zone, does the stereo separations. Batman 3D was an instant 3D classic that has withstood the test of time 31 years later. It still looks great, now digitally enhanced to look better than the original printed version. The creation of a comic book is almost always a collaboration among several professionals. Penciler, inker, colorist, writer, editor, publisher, usually at a minimum. Then there are the creators of comic book characters, generally writers, artist-writers, and editors. Rarely is a comic book character the sole vision of a single artist-writer. However, the exceptions to this rule, like Walt Kelly's Pogo and Bill Watterson's Calvin and Hobbes, show how transcendent solo work can be. Back to the Batcave, which wouldn't exist without Bill Finger and his contributions from the very beginning of Batman's creation in 1939. The Joker, Catwoman, Robin, the Riddler, Two-Face, the Batmobile, the Batcave, the giant Lincoln Penny, the full-size animatronic Tyrannosaurus Rex, Ace, the Bat-Hound, Bat-Mite, Clayface, Betty Kane, the original Batgirl. Bill Finger created or co-created all of these. Finger's contemporary, artist and writer Jerry Robinson, who worked with Bob Kane from the beginning, said Bill had more to do with the molding of Batman than Bob. He just did so many things at the beginning, creating almost all the other characters, the whole persona, the whole temper. Batman inker and letterer George Russos, another contemporary, said, Bob Kane had rough ideas, but Bill was really the man behind Batman. In 1989, Kane wrote, Now that my longtime friend and collaborator is gone, I must admit that Bill never received the fame and recognition he deserved. He was an unsung hero. I often tell my wife, if I could go back 15 years before he died, I would like to say, I'll put your name on it now. You deserve it. Kane acknowledged Finger as a contributing force on Batman right from the beginning. I made Batman a superhero vigilante when I first created him. Bill turned him into a scientific detective. This wasn't the case back in 1939. According to Finger biographer Mark Taylor Nobleman, Bob showed Batman to National Comics editor Vin Sullivan without Bill. Vin promptly wanted to run Batman, and Bob negotiated a deal without including Bill. Finger also wrote the early Golden Age Green Lantern stories after the character had been created. As a screenwriter, Finger contributed scripts to television shows like 77 Sunset Strip and Hawaiian Eye. 27 years after he co-created much of the Batman mythos, Bill Finger collaborated with Charles Sinclair on a script for the live-action Batman TV series. The Clock King's Crazy Crimes, The Clock King Gets Crowned, aired on October 12th and 13th in Season 2 of the show, 1966. It was his first public credit ever for a Batman story. Bill Finger suffered 3 heart attacks and died of heart failure in 1974. His son, Fred, honored his father's wishes to be cremated and have his ashes spread in the shape of a bat on a beach in Oregon.
Don't you love that? You know, I have to. There's about 1,000 people behind that thing. So they're all applauding you. Oh, beautiful, fellas. Thank you. Now, I didn't say it beforehand, but by now you've gotten used to it. Rather than have it work like a seminar somewhere, we got enough of those. We let you sit about 30 seconds on the image while Mr. Pedoto explains things to you. I think it's a lot more fun that way rather than have the, you got the point. I didn't want you to be confused, and I'm sure you weren't because you're very smart people. Now we're going to, we're going to show, before we do that, we didn't do this in rehearsal, fellas, so relax. If you were around last week, you know that we did our first, I don't know how you call it, a remote. We did a remote because I was at another look. I was at NBC with Saturday Night Live. Not on the air, by the way, just in the hallways, being annoying. No, I actually did laser for the client because what else does Johnny Laser do? It's my first time back doing lasers in a while. But anyway, of course I would have to be there first. There's all kinds of protocols. So they make you wear obviously you have to wear a thing on your face and everything. But then if you're on the set, you have to wear a face shield. So I just wasn't that happy with the shields they had. So this is a quick shot of your pal, Johnny Laser by the set. Now for our stereo gallery, Signs of Spring. Mr. McAfee was introduced to 3D, like many of us, through stereorealist slides. He shot with everything from twin Canon Coolpix cameras to L'Oreal 3D to the old faithful Fuji W3. Take it away, Rob.
Good afternoon. So this is a view of a birch tree in my backyard at the very beginning of spring. And you can see the catkins, which will eventually turn to seed. This was taken with a Panasonic camera with the FT012 3D lens. Splits the single frame.
Nice. How much did you edit this in stereo photo? What did you use to edit?
I use Stereo Photo Maker for all of my work. And these are my daughters, and it turns out this shot was taken exactly 4 years ago on Easter, an Easter egg hunt that morning on the 17th of April in 2017.
Your beautiful daughter to the left, are you trying to take our eggs or something? She's got the hands up. Did you?
Don't quite recall. Maybe she didn't want her picture taken.
Boy, that's unusual. None of my children, they are, yeah. There's way too many shots of them. That's generally the expression I get. So I understand it completely. Quite beautiful and great. It's a wonderful shot. Thank you for sharing it.
And this is peony just emerging at the beginning of the year. I hadn't seen it in the past when it was just coming up. It kind of looks to me like some red asparagus.
Now, where do you live in upstate New York?
I live in Syracuse. Go Orange.
Syracuse. Well, not far from Rochester, which was not far from Kodak, right? That was the home of everything. My God, right? Xerox was up there too, right?
Yeah.
Wow,
they've been purchased, I think, by Rayco.
Man, the home of imaging up there, unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. And then here's the same plant flowering, a peony, I think it is.
Oh, this is that plant flowering. Wow.
Yes.
And what did you shoot this with?
These were all shot, except for the picture of my daughters, were all shot with a Panasonic GX1 using their FT012 3D lens.
Wow.
Modified with some washers to let you do macro.
Who modified it?
I did. You just take the screws off and put a couple washers in. George Themelis has a nice write-up about this and sells the washers if you need them. This is someplace near to my home. It's called Cedar Valley Maple Syrup Company, and I went down there. They had maple weekends all through the month of March. Unfortunately, the worker here moved in the shot, but here you can see the maple syrup coming out into the bucket, and it was delicious.
And was this, what camera was this?
This was my Samsung NX1000 twin rig.
And do they allow you to get, how did you get this access?
Everyone can go in there. They are inviting people to see the process, and then of course selling maple syrup and other maple products.
Wow.
I think it's they said 60 to 70 gallons of sap to make a gallon of syrup.
What makes a tree taste so good? That's the question I have.
Who would have thought to try it?
Yeah, I love that maple syrup, but it's amazing. You're drinking tree blood. No, not really. I'm not even sure how it's done, but obviously you're bringing me closer to the source right there. It's fascinating. Do they allow you to see the whole process?
Well, there's not much more to it than that. They have some tubes that run from the maple trees to some large collection vessels that you can't see kind of behind and to the left of this gentleman up the stairs. And then it runs down to this machine, and they boil it and let the sap out. They do have another device that to his left, that a reverse osmosis machine to take out some of the water, so they don't have to use quite as much energy for boiling down the sap.
I've never thought of it, but we're like tree vampires, right?
In this case, yeah.
That's when you think about it. That's what we are, like tree vampires, and pouring tree sap. It's amazing. Pancakes. You never even think of it that way. We're tree vampires. Now, without further ado, a good friend of mine and of the 3D community, Tom Zerega.
We worked with the lab at Rockwell Group on this installation at the Hard Rock Hotel in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It's a hotel in the shape of a guitar. It's a pretty amazing space. And we deployed the first ever 100-inch 4K portrait format glasses-free 3D display using lenticular. It's really cool stuff. It's quasi-holographic. They tried to recreate the sort of Coachella Tupac experience, but miniaturize that and put it in the main elevator bank. So without further ado, let's check out the video, and then I'll bring you guys up to speed on what we've been up to. Hey there, Tom Zerega with Magnetic 3D here. It's been a while since you've heard from us, but today all that's about to change with a new project that we're working on here at the guitar-shaped tower hotel behind me. It's pretty amazing. For those of you who don't know us, Magnetic 3D develops glasses-free 3D displays and a complete technology platform of 3D monitors, software, and content. What we like to say is that our TV wears the glasses instead of the viewer. We are very excited to be here in Hollywood, Florida at the grand opening of the new Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, and proud to be unveiling a game-changing installation that takes creativity and hospitality to an entirely new level. We were thrilled to collaborate with the Rockwell Group and the creative technologists at the lab to design, develop, and deploy the world's largest glasses-free 3D display ever built and install it here at Hard Rock's latest property, the Guitar Hotel. This is technology that would make even Tony Stark jealous. That's awesome. Very nice.
Hard Rock one-of-a-kind guitar-shaped hotel and looking for innovative ways to elevate the lobby experience. They want to showcase their iconic memorabilia and challenge us to design something immersive that has never been done before. The Lab at Rockwell Group is a design studio that creates experiences through story, architecture, and technology. We build meaningful and memorable experiences that blend the spectacular and the intimate. We wanted to design an original application for showcasing Hard Rock's vast memorabilia collection. The idea started circulating. What if we create a fake elevator? A place where we could surprise hotel guests with a unique piece of history and trick them to believe it's real. The faux elevator, as we called it, would open its doors to reveal Rockstar's famous instrument and to cycle through the collections library so that every visit to the lobby is unique and exciting. In order to make this happen, we need to make this totally convincing and look like a real elevator. Interior, sensors, sounds, doors, the works. Magnetic 3D helped us bring this concept to fruition from day one. They even scaled their technology to make this illusion work.
More than 2 years in the making, this project required some huge leaps in technology and overcoming some big challenges. First and foremost, we needed to upgrade to 4K displays. That allowed us to then migrate to portrait format, which was a big consideration here in the hotel, where the displays needed to stand up on end. Beyond that, we needed to figure out how to fill the space in the elevator, and that meant we needed to go to a 100-inch monitor. You put all that together and then you talk about the complexity of the installation itself and getting that technology into the hotel and installed in the elevator bank, and it was an unbelievable project.
Our team was responsible for the creative and architectural integration of the screen, elevator doors, and depth camera. We made 3D models out of the memorabilia, we used motion capture and animation, and then were able to put it all together and program the spectacles. We couldn't have done this without the support and vision of Hard Rock. From the get-go, Hard Rock saw this as a future of storytelling and a one-of-a-kind opportunity to curate and display a rich history of legendary artifacts. We also couldn't have done this without Magnetic 3D. They were great partners on this deployment, really helped us build an amazing 3D product and train our animators on the technical aspects of creating 3D content in their format. As a result, we were able to do things creatively for our client that would be impossible just a few years ago.
I want to thank and congratulate everyone at the Seminole Tribe of Florida and the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Group. This has been an amazing project and opportunity for us, and we absolutely loved working on it. We'd also like to give a special thanks to the entire team at Rockwell Group and the lab. It took a village to bring this project together, and we really enjoyed every moment of it. We'd also be remiss not to thank Suffolk Yates and Creative Realities for all of their help installing the technology and getting everything up and running. It's been phenomenal, and we hope to do it again.
That was great, Tom. I want to hear more, but I also want to know about that gold top Gibson Les Paul in there. You know, I kind of, and I also want to know what's it going to be like when I show up with my face shield at your new offices over there. Well, am I going to be the first person thrown out of the building? What are you thinking? Yeah, you can plug your ears now, David Hazan. I'll let you know. I'll let you know when it's time to come back in. So I don't want to embarrass you. Okay, if you don't know about New York, the Lower East Side is a very creatively fertile area. Historically, a large immigrant population located roughly by the bridges connecting Brooklyn to Manhattan. Brooklyn Bridge, Manhattan Bridge, Williamsburg Bridge, that general neck of the woods. If you go far enough from the Lower East Side, you end up at Wall Street. Just to give you a rough idea of how where the images that Dave shot happened. Among many other great talents, it was the home to songwriter Yip Harburg, lyricist for a little song you might have heard called Somewhere Over the Rainbow. In the 1960s, that area was a hotbed for the counterculture. And it's also near where the Slocum steamboat launched. The 1904 Slocum disaster was the largest loss of life by fire in New York City until the World Trade Center in 9/11. Few know that. The Lower East Side has been somewhat neutered as of late by gentrification. But the only constant in New York is change. Now, Ed Sanders of the Lower East Side band The Fugs, when asked, "When did the 60s end?" answered, "When the rents went up." Now, David Hazan is a gifted photographer and stereographer and owns a professional photo lab in New York City. When you see his work with ANAGLYPH, you'll be jealous, but don't be too jealous because you can rent his knowledge and ability by getting your anaglyphs processed by him at his photo lab. With one look at his website, you know you'll be in good hands. I think it's probably up in the chat. Someone's putting the link up. I'm confident of that. Anyway, can I reach you there, David? Is your official space helmet on?
I am on. I think.
Oh, good. Now we're gonna go. I'm gonna move you right along. Stand by while I move stuff out of my way, so I can enjoy this with you.
Just to add to the Lower East Side story, I think my first wow moment came with stereophotography when I was looking at Lower East Side photos in large format stereo, and that was the spot where people came off Ellis Island and landed there, so it was always hustle bustle. But now there's this amazing thing happening there. It's like a pool of some ecosystem of skateboarders. So it was
Now,
an interesting visual.
Is there actually, David? Is there actually is that a park, or are there things for kids to utilize to do all the fancy skating, or what is it there?
Yeah, it's just an enclosed fenced-in area right under the bridge, and it's got the old school concrete and metal. Exactly what you're looking at. A lot of obstacles and ramps and all kinds of monkey business they do, these young people.
When is it most crowded?
I was curious about that too, but it seems like it's a weather thing, and during the week it seems like all the kids from the neighborhood, it's their hangout place. Obviously, there's a lot of weed smoking going on. I've been to places in my time, but I've never seen an open air, not crowded place smell this much of weed. But it's an interesting hangout place. I was intimidated at the beginning, but they are. I mean,
yeah,
I
I
should
like
call
it.
them they because they're not uniform. There's all sorts of people.
It's great. Okay. It's like.
But I was intimidated by the subculture aspect of it, where I wouldn't be welcome or something. But I quickly found out that they like being photographed.
Man, it looks like a good place for a triage unit. I mean, between smoking reefer, riding skateboards, I'm impressed. I guess there's a bit of a homeless population down here. I'm not sure if this is skaters or just.
Actually, not at all. It might be the only place where you don't have homeless.
I get their point. Too noisy. Imagine the homeless guys going. There goes the neighborhood.
To be honest, it's hard to walk around because at any moment you're risking like somebody flying into you.
That's amazing. Yeah. I got to stop down there with that face shield on. I'm sure I'll be ahead of the kids. Either that or I'll take it.
Oh, you should go.
Oh yeah, I'm all kidding aside. You've opened a whole chapter to me, and I got to get down next time I see Jamie. Now, you explain what you're shooting with your rig.
I was just about to mention I have two Sony RX1s and which are not synced. So these are finger syncs, and in most of the action shots you can kind of sense that or see it really. I thought these were kind of forgivable, so to speak. So I stayed away from action shots. There were some beautiful things I missed for the sync effect because they move super fast and the skateboard is spinning fast, etc. So it was hard.
Interesting. What time of day is this?
This is about 4 p.m. on a Sunday.
On a Sunday.
And because of the setting, because of the high walls and stuff, it has this enclosed feeling. It's kind of an arena more than a park. Like a bit of a Mad Max look to it.
Yeah, perfect, man. You nailed it. No. Very interesting. And now, what do these kids just set up, and one guy goes at a time, or do they do like shows? How do they do?
Yeah, it's almost like a ski lift. They come from the camera left, get up there and wait their turns to go down the ramp and do what they do.
Yeah, yeah. What happens when someone wipes out? I mean, like, were you there when anyone really got injured?
No, I mean they slam on the concrete and they just get up and keep going. And there's also the worry about looking clumsy, so they just get up. Nobody complains or says ouch or anything. They act tough and cool. But just
That's
to
right.
mention on this particular image, I was shooting top down, and
That's a great
there's an
shot.
unintentional hovering effect there because he's moving horizontally and I'm out of sync, so it lifted him up off the surface. I thought it was it
It
was a
is
pretty.
great. And this is the perfect use of 3D because when you don't use it, it's flat. It's like he's on the sidewalk. It's like he's on the curb. When you
Uh,
put the glasses on, he's flying. It's excellent, man.
uh,
Any girls?
Lots of girls. I mean, lots as in lots more than my expectations, but I mean, maybe 10%.
On skateboards? Chicks doing this?
Oh yeah, on skateboards. I didn't shoot many just because it feels. I mean, being the age that I am, shooting young girls somehow rings like a buzzer in my brain, and I stop.
I
I
know.
stop.
I used to go to to playgrounds and shoot. Now they would take you out and you'd be arrested. And it was just fun on swings and all that stuff, and kids with expressions on their faces. Isn't it weird we gave that up? It's just like so strange.
Yeah, we're very contrived right now as a
No,
society.
I understand your position completely. I get it.
Just a close up. This is where they just climb up, and this is the
Wow.
beginning of that ramp. And obviously you can imagine that the outfits are very particular, not necessarily fancy brandy, but everybody has a look because they know that people are watching. I mean, that's my impression anyway.
Yeah, I love the Lower East Side for that reason, man. It's you just can't keep it. I don't know what it is. It's just it breeds that kind of crazy creativity. It's beautiful.
But I've spoken to like people from Staten Island, people meaning kids, 5 kids who just drove from California, just visiting. The second one from the left, his name is Mary J. Valentino. I thought it was the coolest name.
What's that name again? Larry, was it?
Mary J. Valentino.
Ah,
And like I'm old school, so I'm kind of hesitant to ask them if I can shoot, etc. But they were they have cards printed out. They give you your Instagram. They give you their Instagram account, their name. No hesitation whatsoever.
hey, fellas, this is like a good class trip to head down there.
Hmm.
It, I'm sure they'd freak out with a bunch of people. Yeah, with a bunch of guys showing up with 3D cameras. These kids would love it. Oh my god. Not that we want to steal anything from you, David. You just led the way, man. You just led the way. Thank you.
So I get another slightly out of sync, I suppose, and blurry. But I figured I put some action shots to the flying
Yeah,
shot.
it doesn't hurt it at all. And though that's that rig. Explain how you have the two cameras linked up. Oh,
Oh,
you're doing it with your fingers, right? If
yeah,
I
it's
recall.
just an amount, really.
Man, you got that gunslinger thing going on.
Well, I would love to go to the same spot with a tripod, actually.
Oh yeah, look, girl.
Yeah, girl with the boy, and he was flying and she was shooting.
I love the fact that the city pulls in like a dinosaur where
Which,
people are skating. It's just perfectly New York. Like, where should we put this thing? I'll put it where the kids are.
this crane is massive, and I wish I had the courage, but I did contemplate climbing up because there's a little, the basket at the tip of it.
Oh yeah, right at the end there. I could see the piston to hold up the top. Yeah. Oh, you were thinking about climbing to the top of that?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been an amazing vantage point. Yeah.
Well, you did pretty good without it, but
Uh,
I got to admit, the comic relief of just saying, where do we put this thing? Yeah, put it under the bridge where people are. Yeah, sure, why not? It'll... Oh, yeah, there it goes. There's the bucket.
yeah, exactly. I would have paid money to be up there, but maybe next time. I should write to the mayor, maybe. I think this might be the last one. And then these guys put on a show for me, and they did this move maybe 30, 40 times. And
You know,
sadly, I missed them all.
but you know what? They look so posed, man. Did you say, did you give these kids a cue or anything? Or were they just like,
Like these guys?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Actually funny, because this is the one where I took this picture. The guy saw me, and as soon as he saw me, the guy on the bike,
Yeah.
I said, "Do you guys mind if I take a picture?" And then there's a second shot like this where they're posing, but it was a little bit too posy.
Oh, I don't know how, it looks like, do we repeat this one? I don't know. No, I don't think so.
No, it's a similar one, and I think
Gotcha.
it's
I love it anyway, but it's great. So all this stuff is in there. It's getting all tagged with graffiti. And gotcha.
I was told that this whole park was cleaned out during COVID quarantine. They came in and got rid of all the graffiti about 4 months ago. And
Yeah.
this is how it looks now.
No, New York is one of them phases. I lived there. I grew up in Manhattan. It kind of goes through phases, and it's going through one now. But listen, man, the kids got to do something, for crying out loud. You know.
But these are mostly like city kids, and as you guys know, they have a different demeanor. Even if they're like good kids or bad kids, they have a different edge to them. Like these guys, for example, these two here.
What do you think the age? Just a quick guess. The age of the kids in there.
I would
range.
say they average around 16 to 20, but there's all the way to 40-year-olds still high as a kite going up.
Yeah, well, 16 to 20, you could mend a bone pretty quick. So that's the other thing.
Yeah.
And so, like even this,
when we were young, we would think, oh, by the time we go old, they would find a cure for cancer. So keep smoking.
I was shocked to make it to 30, quite frankly. But
maybe these kids think, oh, if we break a bone, we'll just get a new one. Or something.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Now, did they pose for this? Obviously, how did this one come about?
Actually, this is the same story. I took this picture. They noticed me. I asked them. That's kind of becoming my new trick if they catch me taking the picture. So I have a second one where they're staring at. Mm-hmm. And these guys put on the show, so I took a portrait of them.
Yeah, nice portrait.
And I took some names. I'm going back for sure. If anybody wants to come along.
Oh man, yeah. Well, we will definitely join you. I already got stuck twice, so I am a chipped zombie at this point.
We'll do a mass.
So yeah, I got both of my vaccines, so I am a chipped zombie. I can go anywhere. I can do anything. I can leap tall buildings with a single bound. But
you have to wear your shield.
I'm definitely wearing the shield. Come on, man. I would wear the shield. But here's the thing. I'll wear the shield, but I'd be there with 3 or 4 people if you don't mind.
Right.
I'm sure they're wonderful young men and women. Yeah. But I'm not at the point where I can actually. If I lift a hand, the next thing I'm going to see are the fluorescent lights passing over my head in the hospital. If I pick one hand up to punch somebody, it ain't going to happen. Those days are way, way gone. But I'm sure they're very nice kids. I'm being funny. They look like they're in for fun, and we have to make a trip down there. Thank you for bringing us to this place. Hey, everybody, come on, man.
A pleasure.
You do such wonderful, splendid work. You got anyway. Yeah, I'm not going to heap the praise on you because I know I do it enough. But I really feel I'm amazed at your ability. And it's funny, it's like I have another photographer like that too. I respect, and I'm telling you, it's like a gunslinger. Like you got a moment, you catch a moment, and it's so difficult to do that. And it's even with that crazy, stupid delay that all these cameras have. you managed to nail a wonderful moment. And thank you for taking us there without any risk whatsoever. By the way, everybody around the world, no problem, no risk, man. Nobody could go. You know, you're basically no COVID, no stolen wallet or watch. Only kidding. Only kidding.
We're in over in alt space. Let's take Johnny's thing off. We'll just spotlight. There's the folks over in alt space, and unfortunately we had a couple tech issues. We were wrinkling things through. I'm the collapsed heap up on the top balcony. There's Chapter Green waving. We're trying to get some kind of a two-way talk to go between the two worlds, but for now we just have the chat. So we're going to allow participants to unmute themselves, and we can ask some questions of our gracious hosts. If anybody has any questions, or you can just choose to raise your hand in the participants window as well.